Welcome, if you dare, to the world of Dr. Gratu Orloff. As you know, when darkness falls, when the shadows become deep and black, the silent pall of evil settles upon the earth. Who dares search? Who dares to see what walks in the night? If you dare, welcome to the nightmare of Mr. Dr. Orloff. Well, we've been going through Bronze Age comics. Saturday morning, it's actually Saturday afternoon. It's 12:01. Woke up early this morning, watched some Saturday morning cartoons. There's a guy on there with this long hipster beard that I think it's called Group Therapy Podcast. He has a show called Saturday Morning Serials, and he was running old Archie and Sabrina episodes and some other stuff. And then there's a great new show that Dr. Silver Age has. Today was the second episode with him and Shannon were on there talking about comic books, and it's great. To me, it's like the Civil War is finally over. A guy from the North talking to a Southerner guy, and they're the best of friends right now, only 150 years later, and they're talking about comic books. It's great. So you got to watch that show on the Dr. Silver Age channel. Both fantastic guys showing great comics, which makes me feel kind of small potatoes. You know, I always feel like my collection is pretty pathetic. When I see these other guys, man, they're just so much better. I go on Wednesday night on the Four Color Fossil show, the show that Graphic Man founded, and it's like when it comes to my turn, I feel like I'm some kid in 6th grade, and I'm not really ready for my book report. So, well, I got this, and I'm scrambling around, and I don't know, I just feel like it's pretty pathetic. But we're brought to you once again by the makers of King's Candy Cigarettes and Victory Candy Cigarettes and Lucky Lights Candy Cigarettes, Stallion Candy Cigarettes, and Roundup from the makers of the pesticide that you all enjoy. Well, so we're going to look at some Batman comics today, is what I think you guys requested, right? All the letters coming in been telling me that you'd like to see some Batman comics, but I haven't been getting much sleep lately, so I may fall asleep during the show. Just letting you know, I've been I've been staying up late at night in tears, worrying about the upcoming ice age. Global warming. No. I mean climate change. That's the one. That's the one I'm supposed to be upset about. I've been told I'm supposed to be upset about it. Here are the two little cats. On the left is Alan, and there's Pete on the right. And they're brothers, and they're hanging out here hoping to find mice, but I think they already got them all. They got them all, ladies and gentlemen. The war is over. We've declared victory. But I'm turning off the lights because, climate change is an existential threat to our democracy. Well, so, Batman, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Batman room. God damn it. And it's very cold in this room. But we're not going to be looking at Batman toys today necessarily. We're going to be looking at Bronze Age Batman comics. Unfortunately, I don't have that issue. You probably do. Oh, this is the picture I wanted to show you. Gotham City Comics. You see him in the chat often here on the Gratu Orloff show. He has a store in Mesa, Arizona. He's going to recreate this photograph in his new store that he just moved into. He's going to have an actual Monsters Corner, like in this old photo from the 60s This is like everything I've ever dreamed of. I ought to try to recreate that here in this house. I just need to make a. He's already has the Monster Corner sign that he's recreated exactly from that old photograph. If any of you know anything about this photo, well, actually, it tells you down at the bottom. Rich Palmer ran the nation's largest volume hobby shop in Parsippany, New Jersey. Aurora hired him to organize its monster customizing contest in 1964. Aurora received national television attention when the CBS Evening News visited his shop. Walter Cronkite and Palmer held a conversation in the Monster Corner of the store. Big Frankie occupies the top shelf in the Monster Corner. I wish that we could find a surviving copy of that footage where Walter Cronkite's in there talking to him. But we may have to just imagine it, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, let's go on up to the comic book room. And I'll grab something to drink as well. Anyway, you got to watch Dr. Silver Age's show. See, I turned off the light. You're a witness to it. I'm going to turn this light off too. This light helps me get up the stairs at night. Well, this morning I had fun on Instagram. I posted a whole bunch of Donald Trump memes, and 35 people promptly unfollowed me. And then I looked at the memes, and there were a lot of people that liked them that I don't follow. So maybe I'll make back the same number of followers. Anyway, I'm going to go upstairs and get a drink. 1 second. You post a meme about Donald Trump being a great guy, and they start clutching their pearls, and they're all horrified and shocked that anyone would say such a thing. And so that's the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. So we're back. I haven't done a show in a little stretch of time because I've been working and doing important things, man. If this show paid, maybe I'd be more aware of, having a regular schedule or something. Okay. This is the May Angel. My wife was born in May. That's a picture of what I really look like. I'm wearing a human disguise right now. I always like this lamp because it reminds me of Poison Ivy of the Cramps, and that's my first pet. Her name was Princess, and Princess's ashes are here, and that's the ashes of my beloved dog Daisy. And this is someone in 1967 that I'm not related to, but I found this picture and this picture in an antique store, and I had to get them, so they are now adopted relatives, as I just think they're so cool. And that kind of looks like Princess, so I put it up there. So, in case you've been wondering about the backgrounds here. Whoa! I'm gonna break my neck here. I'm starting to get everything kind of where I want it to be as far as the collection goes. But, I'm a broke, retired guy, and I've gone back to work to try to make ends meet, but I don't have money for many new, I would never buy a new comic, but any old comics, and I wish I did, but maybe something will happen, like a new president, or the economy's not being intentionally destroyed to help out the CCP. You know, everyone's wondering about these 20-something rogue Republican congressmen, or hold on a minute, this cord's all tangled up, that just wouldn't vote for. It took 15 votes to get this Kevin McCarthy guy in. And you know, you think people would appreciate his performance at Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but no. Anyway, people say, why weren't they just going along for it? Well, what they were trying to do is they want to do things like shore up the border and investigate Biden's connections and his son's connections to China. They want to, there's all kinds of stuff they want to do. Oh, this glow, where's that coming from? Oh, we better adjust that light. They also want to put in term limits on congressmen, because you shouldn't, like Biden went in 1972 and spent decades. You know, he went in when I was 7 and made all these billions of dollars from foreign governments and stuff. So they want to put in term limits, and the other congressmen who that is their life profession don't really want that. All right, we're going to be looking at Batman comics. We just started looking at Batman comics in the last video, and I don't know. Probably no one made it that far into that video. Okay, so Dr. Pepper, it's black gold Texas tea, imported directly from Iraq, ladies and gentlemen. Horrible, terrible stuff for you. But that being said, let's look at Batman. That being said, having said that, Barbie, Batgirl. Oh. All right, so I'll just recreate what I showed at the very end of the last show. Here's Batman Through the Ages, ladies and gentlemen. Does that book have a bag on it? Yeah. Here's my oldest Bronze Age Batman. Batman on the desert. There's a couple of Jonah Hex covers that go really nicely with this. If you were going to make a wall of covers of guys laying prostrate, shirtless in the sand in a desert, you could probably fill up at least one rack with cool covers. Here's another issue of Batman. How about that? 250, which is how old Joe Biden is right now. Here's 252. You say, Gratu, you talk about politics too much. You should leave politics out of it. Just don't think about what's going on in the country, and everything will be fine. Yeah. Yeah, that's what they said back in the 1700s, too, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? All right, here's that cover with the shadow, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. Here's okay. I was showing these 100-page giant Batmans last exciting episode. Oh, another copy of the same issue. All right. So, how are you guys doing this wonderful Saturday afternoon? Are you having a fine Saturnalia? Are you skipping around the forest, singing the praises of Saturn, worshiping him, sacrificing goats in honor of Saturn? No, you're watching the Gratu Orloff show. I was thinking just dropping the Gratu part and just going with the Orloff part, and maybe just go to like Dr. Orloff. Or should I be Colonel Orloff? See, that That would sound like I'm imitating Captain Strangelove, and I'm outranking him, which wouldn't be fair because he's been around on YouTube much longer. So, so maybe I shouldn't go with a military rank. I could be Senor Orloff, and I could learn a little bit of Spanish from my wife enough that I could start every episode in Spanish and convince people that I'm Latinx. Latinx. I have not ever, I still have not met any Hispanic person that likes this term that college professors came up for them, Latinx. This is the first Batman comic I ever bought. It. No, I just went through the same Phrygian story last episode. This is the first one I bought as a cognizant adult third grade comic book collector. I bought that issue off the rack. But I do remember I had that, and I have it again. It's in the Silver Age. Like I was 5, and I know I think it was Detective Comics with the Two-Face cover. I think there's a boat or an ocean. I don't remember, but I had that one. It didn't survive to me now. There's certain books that I remember having that didn't get to me. Like I had that first DC Tarzan book. Well, I have it again, but I know I had that off the rack and that didn't get to me. The first comic I ever bought was Choo Choo Charlie. That didn't survive to get to me. It was lost in a move or something. But I have bought it again in several copies because it's important to me as the first comic I had. That's a gold key. But the first comic book I actually went to a store, walked by myself, and paid the person by myself. I was very proud of that. And walked home with a comic. I didn't have to have my mom buy it for me. Was Laurel and Hardy. It was a DC comic, and they were. I don't have that comic, and I'd like to get a copy of that because that has some significance to me. My wife's calling. Let me go see what's up. Okay, hold on a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Well, so my wife isn't happy with me. I went out and got her a hamburger and some onion rings, and she was in bed. I laid it down next to her on the bed, and so that when she woke up, she could get it, you know. And she was, anyway. So the dog's been like, smells it up on top of the bed. The dog can't get up on this high bed, but has been bugging the shit out of her. So she's all. So I did a good deed, but it backfired. Okay, now let's see what we got here. I was telling her how I was putting all those Donald Trump memes up and how I lost 35. And I lost a viewer here on YouTube also. I went, so it must have, I'm sure that's related to my barrage of Donald Trump Instagram posts. 265. Yeah, I don't give a shit about social media. 265. I fucking idiots. You put that stuff up. This has to be a joke, right? You have all these great pictures, but you have to be joking about Donald Trump. No, I'm not. All right, 267. You have to be joking that you think Biden's doing a good job. But they had yesterday the greatest number of jobs in history, the best report ever. Look how great Biden's doing. Yeah, that's because people have to go out and get second jobs, or retired people have to get a job like me because they can't make ends meet. That's why there's all these jobs because of that. This is 274. I was talking about, that Laurel and Hardy comic. They're on the top of a boat or something, and I need to get, I'm sure that's not a high dollar book. It was based on the 1960s cartoon, Laurel and Hardy cartoon. These are all books I bought when I was in San Antonio, 3rd and 4th grade. We might be moving into when I lived in Tacoma, Washington here, because we're into the bicentennial. In 1975, 76 school year, when I was in 5th grade, we were living in near Seattle. This is Batman 279. All these books were bought. This is an Ernie Chan cover. All these books were bought before I'd ever seen the Batman TV show, because I'd seen Super Friends, and I'd seen the Batman movie, the 66 movie on television, but, I'd never seen the series until the next year when we moved to Arlington, Texas. It was on a Fort Worth channel, KTVT channel 11, and then I was every afternoon, which confused me as a kid, because I would watch it, and I knew it was a show from the 1960s, obviously, and I had gotten hand puppets of Batman and Robin when I was 3 from my grandmother, and I got the Corgi Batmobile and Batboat when I was like 5 from Santa. So, I was all aware of all of it. But, so I watched the show. It's on 5 days a week. And they say, tune in tomorrow, same time, same bat time, same bat channel. I'm thinking, well, it was a weekly show. Why are they saying tune in tomorrow? Which works in when it's shown every day, but 5 days a week. And what I realized is that it was on, I believe, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or maybe it was Wednesdays and Thursdays on the ABC network in the 60s. And so what they did is they wanted it to be like an old movie serial. So in reality, Batman was not a half-hour show. It was a weekly hour-long TV show, but they divided it up into 2 parts over 2 nights, which is... so anyway, but you know that already. 277, 279. I need better light in this damn room is what I need. All those lights, they seem to be working. Okay. Yeah, the covers in this era were very good, 280. And then there's too much damn... That light is not doing this justice. 280. I'm missing 281. Here's another Ernie... See, it says Ernie Chua Ernie Chan was, you'll see his name both ways. It all had to do with when he came to this country, how his name was written down, and he later corrected it. This is a great cover. Everyone's talking about how the Joker was a pregnant man this last Wednesday in some latest Batman comic. I saw a picture of the panel where he realizes he's pregnant, and it's the biggest crime was how badly it's drawn. But anyway, here's 304. That apparently he's not really pregnant. It's all just a fantasy, or he's hypnotized or something. But still, the whole point is they're doing it to get publicity and to upset people, conservatives or whatever, and then they could say they're just intolerant. Why can't a man be pregnant? It's all done for a reason. And so now these are all out of order, it seems like. That's 290. Yeah, these are out of order, man. What's going on? 280, 282, 291, 292. Then there's 304. Why is 304 there? 304 and 305 are in the wrong place. Okay, 292, 294, 301. Did I show you this one? I have no idea. That's 302. I don't know if I showed you this, 303. But I'm sure you have these comics. These are not... Okay, this is where 304 and 305 go. I don't know what these go for now, honestly. Maybe the value has gone up on comics from this time period. I'm not sure entirely. 306. They didn't used to be really valuable. Okay, 298. $297, $298. Okay, so I have 307 and then I have 284. So yeah, these are, it's a good thing. So yeah, boy, I hate it. You hear stuff, you hear people talk, and then you start picking it up. And because everyone's saying, but yeah, but yeah. Instead of saying, yeah is the new And I'm doing it now. I make fun of it, and then I'm doing it. 287. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Morons. 287. Okay. Yeah, these are all out of order. This is 288. I must have put a bunch of comics just in the wrong spot. Okay, what is this? Oh, okay. 289. So how are you guys doing this wonderful Saturday? The weather's sunny, but it's really very frigid out there. It's like 20-something out there. 290. I could have sworn I just showed you this. Do I have two copies of it? 290. Don't you hate it when this happens? Here's 293. All right. Do you know that Lex Luthor is really a woman? Okay, 294. It's kind of a striking cover with Batman's face erased. 294. Oh, good. Here's a good Saturnalia cover for Saturday. This is what most of you are probably doing to honor Saturn today. 295. 295. 295. $2.96 is a Scarecrow cover. Okay, maybe I'm back to normal. 307. 307. 307. 307. Oh, I have two 307s. How about that? $308. Okay, now this is a problem. Okay, here's another 308. Another 308. How about that? Hopefully that's a high dollar key issue. Here's, I guess I could open it up to figure out what issue it is. Did I just show you this one? It's a Whitman variant. See, and the reason I can't tell you the number is where the number should be is the Whitman logo. So this was made to be, let me see if I can't find, I thought I had this one. I just showed it to you. These were sold in 3-packs for 79 cents. And man, it's I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Here's a Christmas cover, 309. It's Christmas because of the, little holly leaves around the border. 313. I'm just going to put that Riddler one in between those, and I'll figure out at some distant date in the future what number that comic is. Right now, I just don't give a shit, man. Don't give a shit, man. I don't have time for this shit. Oh, here it is, 317. Here's a real one. Although the Whitman is real, I understand that. It's just, okay, this is a A-B comparison. See, that's how they changed it. And over here, okay, so people will pay a premium for the Whitman variants. The Whitman, they're not reprints. They used to say that in the Overstreet Guide, but they aren't. This is Batman 325. Look at that bag, man. What the hell? That's 314, 317, 325. Okay, the Batman collection's starting to get kind of spotty. Here's 326. Here's 327, Joe Kubert Insane Asylum cover. That was 327. Okay. 330. Starting to be Batman books out of order in here. Driving me crazy. Here's 334 with a Catwoman cover. $335. Here's $340. Now this cover is a salute to EC. There's an EC where a corpse hand is coming up through the street, and there's a 50s car coming. It's very similar to this. I think it's Vault of Horror. You can tell me down in the comments below. 340. Here's 341. Here's 342. $343. Actually, I think books around in this time period go for $10 to $15, possibly. Is what, at least that's what mycomicshop.com was charging a while back. $344. $345. $346. This is probably a $9 or $10 comic, I think. I think so. $348. $3.49. $3.51. Oh, okay. That's $3.51. Here's $3.50. I need to put that in with it. Okay, now we have an unbagged one. $3.54. They're selling watches. I kind of like it when I find an unbagged one because I don't like having to open them up on the air, and we can flip through the comic and see what it looks like inside. For those of you, I don't know, maybe there's some of you that weren't buying comics in this time period. Alfredo Alcala is one of the artists in this, and he's one of the greats. Will it fit in this bag? That's a little tight. That's a little tight, ladies and gentlemen. So, how are you doing today, this wonderful Saturday? There we go. There's a Silver Age bag. It fits just fine in there. $3.54. $3.55. The Bat and the Cat. And then we go to $3.59. $3.62. $3.63. $3.64. And then we're coming up to some books that are not. Here's $3.65. Okay, $3.66. Now here's the Kool-Aid Man high-tech video game. When comic books were 75 cents. Yeah, the artwork in this time period is really cool. This must still be Alfredo Alcala. This is Jason Todd era. Yeah, Alfredo Alcala. He's one of my favorites. Yeah, okay, that goes in there. $3.68. This is the first new Robin. But what people really want this issue for is the Power Lords ad. Power Lords. Oh, look, they were selling these Sergeant Rock vehicles. Okay. Not a big fan of all these new Robins. To me, it's always Dick Grayson. But I'll accept it. $3.66, $3.68, $3.69. Deadshot is back. So it's a comic book, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it just wonderful? What the fuck is that? That'll fit in that one. Okay, $3.69. What is this? Oh, $3.70. During this time period, all the ads were for video games. Here they're again marketing action figures at your local Kmart for and an ad for the new Masters of the Universe figures from yeah, they're really marketing Masters of the Universe big time in here. And here's an ad for Atari's Joust. This is the early 80s, more than likely, and That's when video games were. Of course, video games would soon replace comics, so they're kind of advertising their successors, their replacements. Kind of like when they make someone they're about to fire train their replacement. I feel like that's what was happening there. So, yeah, because kids today, they don't read comic books. Maybe a weird few do. And I say weird in a complimentary way. If you kids that are weird and different, like I was listening to old time radio in the 70s when I was a kid, stuff that my parents listened to. There are kids, I'm sure, today that collect and love old comics, but for the most part, the kids don't care about this. Too tight. Don't care about these. They're more into the they might like the characters in movies or in video games. I mean, they may love Batman, but they're not going to be reading Batman comics, especially not old ones in the 1980s. And that's what these comics were made for. You can fool yourself and say, no, they're made for adults, and you would be wrong, and you would be an idiot. 339. 339. Okay. Here's another copy of that one that I said was like an EC tribute. I wish I could remember the name of the particular issue number that has that. And then there's an imitation There's another pre-code horror comic that imitates this EC cover. So there's really, I think, 3 comics out there with this basic design. The EC, I think it was Vault of Horror, and another one that imitates it, and then this one, 340. Okay, so let me get these in here. These were out of order. $3.39. Yeah, I was awake last night. It must have been around midnight when they finally, on the 15th vote, they got Kevin McCarthy in there. So, when they have the hearings and they go after Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, they'll be called the McCarthy hearings, just like in the 50s. Just different McCarthy, 366. But they've already demonized the name McCarthy from the 50s, even though he really was right about Hollywood. But you can't really say that because you've been brought up in school, taught that he was just a horrible man. And, did I show you this one? Yeah, you were taught he was horrible. But he was really right. There is a lot of communism going on, ladies and gentlemen. He may have pushed the limits a little bit too much, though. Okay, how could that? I found a magnifying glass downstairs. I need to bring it up. 366. 366. 365. 366. 368. 369. 370. 376. And then I pulled some comics out of the back of this box because it was starting to get too tight as I bagged and boarded more of these books. This must be the lid for this box, I presume. These books I pulled out. Starting with 382. No, what are these? Oh, these are already in the 400s. Well, let's get this box back in the other room, and let's get another Batman box out here. get through the 3rd season of Stargirl. We're on the 3rd episode. I think we were mostly done with the 3rd episode last night. But after that, there'll be no more. That's a miracle because they've canceled the show. Okay. All right. Okay. Not supposed to be working on the Sabbath, but I'm moving comic boxes. But I'm not supposed to do that. Okay, let's move some Brave and the Bolds out of the back of here so we can fit new books in. There's some books in this box that are going to need to be sleeved as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen? All right. Okay, so this box starts with 433. So anyway, let's get these in here. In Search of Catwoman, 382. Oh, no back and board at 374. Will there be a video game on the back? Yes, burger time. Yeah. It's kind of depressing because you just realize that these video games would destroy the comic industry. And they're fun and everything to play. We're almost out of electricity on this telephone device. Oh, you know why? I didn't turn this on. I haven't been charging the phone. Oh, there we go. What a moron I am. Okay. Peril is the Penguin. Okay. Speculating idiots were all over this book a while back because they heard that the Calendar Man was going to be in James Gunn's reboot of Suicide Squad. And he was. Briefly, I think it was his brother that played him in a prison scene, but I don't think the value of that book stayed up. Okay, so that was it's a great movie though. 384. These are way out of order. Okay, then I have 376. Wasn't that in the last box? Oh man, what a pain in the ass this is. Yeah, it was. I think I remember seeing that book. 7. Looks like I was just throwing Batman books in here last summer, and thinking, well, I'll get them in chronological number later, as long as they're alphabetized, and then now is later. Let's see, 433. Okay. Here's Batman Year 1. And here's the ad on the back. This is I think this is where they established that Catwoman was an ex-prostitute. It's a great story. I just don't, or no, I think that was done in Dark Knight. And yeah, Dark Knight established her as an old prostitute, and this established her as a young prostitute. Whereas in the original creation of the character, she was a cat burglar. So they had to make it dark and gritty. I didn't like that change, although I liked the storyline and everything. I don't like characters that I love turned into prostitutes. I don't know, sue me. So sue me, man. Batman Year One. You know, at some point, I went through my collection and realized that the bags were horribly turning colors and all wrinkly, and I took a lot of books out of the bags. They were all bagged at one time. Someone, forget, one of the viewers was saying, those books are so freshly minty looking to not have been bagged. Well, they were bagged until they've probably been out of bags at least 10 years or more, but I'm trying to get them back in. And here's 405. But, you know, Dr. Silver Age, Rod and Shannon were talking about on the show this morning that they didn't ever see comic bags until the early 80s. I mean, Robert Bell came up with the idea of sleeving comics, and I think that was in the early 70s, but and so then comics were in bags. In comic stores, you know, like my comic store was Lone Star Comics. They had them in bags, but they didn't have boards. Boards came later, even later than that. And so you got to remember, all these old comics from the 60s, they weren't bagged and boarded for a significant part of their life until those bags were invented. And all those Golden Age comics went 30 years or more without bags and boards, and if they're in great shape, then, you know, I mean, it's possible to keep comics in good shape without being bagged and boarded. It's not a smart thing to do, but if you're poor or a cheapskate, then it may be something you gotta do. 408. Okay, 421. That's a gruesome cover. 422. Oh, this is the cover that people really like. Let's see, I've got several copies. They even made an action figure based on this. Here is the exciting newsstand variant. But this one's not in very good shape. It's got, it has a black back cover, and then it's not always cut exactly right. You can see a little bit of the black, and so that will, if there's a bend in it, it will, you might get a little spine tick. So I don't know what this goes for. It's Batman 423. It's a McFarlane cover. It's kind of cool the way he does his name and a bat, like the Batman 1966 show. It's just, you know, it's Batman with the Spawn cape that's ridiculously big, and obviously he would trip over it and not really be able to fight crime in it, but it really looks cool. So, looks like I've got 3 copies of from the comic store and one that came from a newsstand rack. So whoop-de-doo, aren't I cool? Look at this shit. 424. 425. 430. It's kind of a cool cover. And then at some point between 430, wait, this isn't in the right order. 430, here's 408. After 430, my math skills are not good. Okay, 408 comes right after, I think, yeah, right after the Batman Year One. Okay, I have I have two copies then. One is newsstand, one is newsstand. This one, it was the way it would be if you got it at a comic store. So that's 408. Here's 409. Here's 410. Here's 411. What the hell? Oh, 414. Yeah, this is, and then 415. Okay. 415. Okay, so this 415, then it goes to 4, oh, these ones I showed you. 424, 425, 430 would be after that. And then looks like I have a bunch of missing issues. Then I have 442. Then I have 447. Then I have 457. It looks like I bought it one copy every 10 issues, it looks like at this point. It looks like, I wonder what time period this is. Does it say on there 87? This one's 87. Okay, so we're getting into the 90s, and I must have, yeah, I had other things going on in the 90s that distracted me from my Batman purchasing, that's for darn sure. Okay, so 457, no, wait a second, 433, oh wait, now these books are way out of order. I guess I had 433. Yeah, these are way insanely out of order. 435. 436. Okay, that needs a bag in the board. This is Batman Year 3. Where's Batman Year 2, man? I must have been sleeping during that time. Cryogenic suspension. 436. Okay. 436. Okay. All right. Another 436 that is bagged and boarded. Another 436 that is bagged and boarded. 440. Yeah. 440. How about that? What the fudge? Oh, okay. 440? Didn't I just... Okay, I have two copies of that then. 441? Oh, okay, so that's where this 442 I showed you a minute ago should be. 442. Another 442. Another 442 that's not bagged and boarded. Let's take care of that, ladies and gentlemen. Too small. What is that? 450? Oh, look. DC Comics aren't just made for kids. Yeah, right. Then why do you have ads like this on the back cover? There's the wrestling guys from that era. I don't know. Most of the four-color fossils are amazing and amazing wrestling authorities. I don't know much about wrestling. I remember my mother always told me about Gorgeous George, and I'd watch old wrestling from back then, and um, I watched some WWF during that Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock period, because I heard so many of my students talking about it. I just had to figure out what is this they're all so entranced with. And I watched an episode. I tuned in, I guess, to the USA Network or something, and the wrestlers went out of the ring and were fighting outside the ring, and then the camera was following them as they went into a restroom and completely destroyed the sinks and the toilets, as I recall, and hitting each other with sinks. I swear that was happening. And I'd love to see that episode. 445. Did I just show you that? Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll use one of these bags and boards as a place saver because I'm getting totally confused. That was, okay, that's 445. Okay. And this is 447, the Russian one I showed you. So that fits there. And then the next one in the box, okay, it's 451. There's that pregnant man. And here's another one with that Joker cover. 451. 455. I like this cover. The issue's not worth anything. Of course, that's all that matters, is how much a comic is worth. I love that on the Dr. Silverade show this morning, they never once talked about what a comic's worth. That is so refreshing. You know, or what did you pay for that? It was all, no, I bought this when it came out on the stand when it cost 20 cents. I love that. 440, 455, 457, 459. Okay, and then there's a few that are unbagged. 457. Oh, we go all the way to 495. I definitely was distracted during those years, it would seem. These are bags I took off of things off of books I bought in a store, so they have prices on them, $4 or $3. I guess I'll reuse them. I mean, I have no choice. But then, you know, it'll look like that's what I paid for the comic, and it may make me look great, or it may make me look foolish, depending on what the price is on the outside of the bag. This is one of those Kelly Jones covers, and he's like if Bernie Wrightson, like something happened to Bernie Wrightson's brain, you know, and he was really drunk. This is what Bernie Wrightson's art would look like if his brain was diseased or something. 496. Let's see. We'll put. Oh, this bag doesn't have a price on it. Let's put this in a $2.40 bag. Yeah, look at this blood on Batman's glove and coming out of Batman, the Joker's mouth. 496. $503. This is the Catwoman. The big juicy MILF ass. Let's see. I didn't just say that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. You can kind of see the type of women that Kelly Jones likes. And you can tell that Kelly Jones is not a woman also. Yes, indeed. All right. So, 503. Oh, here's another 503. Oh, look, RoboCop 3 video game, man. Oh, wow. I think Frank Miller wrote the script for RoboCop 3. Oh, look, RoboCop versus Terminator. I love the Terminator movie, the first two movies. RoboCop. Oh, I saw RoboCop at the world premiere in Dallas because they shot it in Dallas. It takes place in New Detroit, but they actually filmed it in Dallas, right? So I went to the world premiere. And what's his face that played Buckaroo Banzai in RoboCop? Peter Weller, I believe is his name. He walked down, the aisle. I was right in an aisle seat, and that guy is tiny, man. He's like the little guy in Fantasy Island, that tall, that tiny. It's an illusion on the big screen. And I remember all the people that were, all the extras, everybody that was in that movie was in the audience because it was, Dallas. And there was a scene where a bank's being robbed or something, and I thought it was so stupid. And the ghost saying, I want $1 million, and I want a nice fancy car that gets really shitty gas mileage, like a bank robber would really say that. And the guy that was that idiot in the movie is sitting right in front of me, and all his friends are, oh, you did such a great job in your 5 seconds of fame in this stupid movie. I remember Ronald Reagan was president when that movie came out, and there's a scene where they show they call him the president, because of some climate change or something. You see this bloated, fat guy laying face down in the sand. I could have sworn on a beach, and it's implied that's Ronald Reagan. I thought, this is really bad taste. And this is directed by this German guy that hates America. And I was real rah-rah America there in the 80s. And I thought, this movie's really just a critique of our country. And I thought, the special effects with the stop motion robots at the end were really cool and everything, but I just didn't like that it was an un-American movie. And I didn't like the people around me in the theater that were in the movie, and I just wanted to hate it. If I watched it now, I'm sure I'd love it, but I kind of just wanted to hate that movie because it was, I thought, un-American. It was un-American, man. I'm not going to put up with that shit. Yeah, I don't know. The Terminator I liked, but now I don't know what's happened to James Cameron. Just like all the people I used to like. Now, Sam Raimi, I think the problem with that Doctor Strange movie was out of his hands. I think that was the Disney, the studio, stepping in and changing things. Because he's not that dumb to make a movie that bad. And there were little traces here and there you could see of Sam Raimi, but now I see a trailer came out a few days ago for a new Evil Dead movie. And the Evil Dead movie, starting with the second one, became very comedic. But the first Evil Dead movie, when that came out in the 80s, in the mid-80s, I remember it was like this underground thing that Stephen King had written a review of, that it was the most horrifying movie of all time, and because it had that review, this thing got into major theaters, but it sneaked into the theaters. It's like, I remember it was playing at the Lowe's Theater in about 84, and it just was there with hardly any publicity, but we read about it in Fangoria, and my friends and I went to see it, and it was so great. We loved it, but it was horrifying. And the second one was funny, and this is upcoming one. It's not directed by Sam Raimi. It's some Australian director, but Sam Raimi and all his friends are around as producers or executive producers, whatever. The trailer makes it look like the kind of like the first Evil Dead movie is like an extreme, grueling experience. 457, 459. So anyway, we'll see. I've kind of grown disenchanted with what Hollywood's producing. Okay, so we're into that 90s period. Here's 509. And my collection's going to be kind of spotty from here on. 511. Yeah, it still looks good inside, you know. The 90s haven't ruined Batman completely, like most. Will it fit in this bag? Yes. Okay, so these tiny bags that are made for modern comics will apparently work on these 90s books. Here's 514. And then I jump over 100 issues to 617. I think this is part of the, is this part of that new 52? This is that Jim Lee era that everyone talks about, which is, you know, a 2-page spread, just the boobs and ass. It's very modern looking, but it's not horrible, you know. This is a very, I think, famous storyline, this Hush thing. Indeed. Yeah, it fits. Here's 618. Oh, boy. So how are you guys doing today on this beautiful Saturday? You doing great, huh? All of you members of the comics community. 618. Then I go to 656. Oh, wait, what's this one? This is 460. Let's get that in there. 460. Okay, all right. Here's some dollar comic book from a couple of years ago. I guess I'll throw it there. Oh shit, what the fuck is that? Oh. It's 509. 509. 3, 4. Okay. Here's Batman Annual number 5. Batman Annual number 12. Batman Annual number 13 from 1989, the year the movie came out. Here's 14, which has a really good Neal Adams Two-Face cover. Here's another one. Can I do an effect with this? No, I really can't, can I? No, it's going to be hard to do. It's there's no way to do that. 16. Oh, wait. Here's Batman 619. So I do have some modern Batman books. Let me put that in front of the annuals. Okay, 509, 511, 514, 617, 619. Okay, all right. Okay, all right, wait. 618, 619. 656. Okay, what is this? Oh, they started the numbering over again. 47. 85. This is one of those cool Batgirl that's got a slanted or sideways cover. Batgirl. I like these Darwin Cook deals. Batman and Robin, also with a sideways cover. Those are really cool. Here's another one. I just love these covers. Interior art is boring modern stuff to me. You may love it. It's fine. Your opinion is perfectly valid, ladies and gentlemen. You're okay. You're all right. Okay, wonderful. Oh, what the freaking heck is this shiz? Whoa. What is this shit? Oh. Batman Annual. Okay. Okay. Here's Batman Adventures #1, which might have some value now. It's drawn to look like the TV cartoon from the 90s, which was a high water mark for, oh, here's another one of these. Shit. High water mark for animation on television. I mean, it was one of the greats. I mean, right up there with Johnny Quest. Batman Adventures, okay. So that's 1. This is issue 2. This is 2. Three is not bagged yet. I'll use this one. Okay, then we go to number 10. Thanks for coming along with me through this adventure and bagging and boarding, because without you coming along, I'd probably not be doing this. You know, I would be neglecting things. Here's 10. Did we just see a 10? Yeah, I have 2 copies of 10. Here's 11. 11. Graphic Man was showing some of these the other night on the 4-Color Fossils show. Here's number 12, which is a pretty high dollar book because it's the first Harley Quinn. Now, this Joker being pregnant business on Wednesday, you know, made national news. But the story behind that all, I remember there was a graphic novel that came out in the 1980s, and it came out on Thanksgiving Day. Comic stores were actually open on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, to sell this new book called Arkham Asylum, as I recall. Yeah, I went on Thanksgiving Day to pick up this book because there was a lot of hype about it. Lone Star Comics in Arlington, Texas, now called MyComicShop.com, was open on that day. So I get this book, and the big deal, what I remember about it, is that it played up this homoerotic attraction that the Joker has to Batman. The Joker is basically in love with Batman, and so there's a scene where the Joker has on a wedding dress. Okay, and this must have been around the time of the Tim Burton movie, because there was a lot of Batman hype. What else is going to keep a store open on Thanksgiving Day? They know they're going to make a lot of money. So, when they start the Batman animated series, you're thinking, oh man, the comics are making the Joker appear to be in love with Batman. We gotta like create a girlfriend for the Joker uh, basically as a beard, so that people don't get the wrong idea that DC, the comics division's doing. So they created the character Harley Quinn, and so she was created for the cartoon, and then this was the first time she appeared in an actual comic book. And now she's obviously a big deal and like one of the favorite costumes that little girls want to wear on Halloween. Even though they don't ever have her in that costume anymore, as far as I can see in the comics. She's always wearing this hooker clothes that looks like this one photo shoot that Debbie Harry did back when she was, with Blondie. So anyway, that's the story on that. Batgirl was also not originally a character in the comics. She was created for the TV show in the third season to spice up the ratings. There had been a Batgirl in the 50s with blonde hair, as I recall. It was like, I forget what her name was. There was Kathy Kane, but that was Batwoman. But then they created the Batgirl with the red hair for Commissioner Gordon's daughter. Was actually created for the television series, the Adam West TV series. So anyway, whatever. Okay. Then we have, this is a great cover. Look at that. This is number 16. Looks like I would buy the issues that had the girls on the cover, because the animated series did a great job with the art. I mean, the series was made to look like the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons, and was given a timeless feel with the vehicles and everything, where it didn't really necessarily look like the 1990s. The movies did that also, as far as the vehicles and everything, and the detectives wearing fedoras and stuff. 18. But the animated series was much better than any of the movies. 18. Here's 21. Here's 23. So how are you guys doing today on this wonderful Saturday? Pretty good, huh? All you members of the comic book community. Just great. Everyone's doing great, right? Just fantastic. Oh my God, would never end. 26. 1994, ladies and gentlemen. You bitch. So, all of you that say that Karate Warlock doesn't have his comics bagged and boarded, he has some that aren't bagged and boarded, that's terrible. You can just back off. My nephew, his first words when he was learning to talk was back off. He'd say, back off, back off. The babies, aren't they supposed to say mama and things like that first and not back off? Oh well, these modern babies, never can't tell what they're gonna do, man. Must have been watching too many John Wayne movies or something. Batman 27, ladies and gentlemen. Batman Adventures, I should say. Yeah, man. Okay, there's some more. There's 35. Unbagged, unboarded, with a pig's ass on the cover. I mean, on the back cover. Should have been on the front cover. So you're, study and contrast. You've got the Batman animated series artwork with this terrible modern artwork. Uh, 35. Here's another copy of 35. kind of getting towards that time. It's an hour and 25 minutes in, and usually this memory on my phone doesn't let me go much farther than an hour and 30 minutes on any of the episodes anymore, because I got it clogged up with too many photographs. But and I can't figure out how to get the photographs off my phone onto my laptop, because they're all in the cloud, and you got to go to this Apple site and download them from the cloud. But then you've got to have I swear it used to be free to unzip things, but now you've got to buy something to unzip things. I've never heard of such. Never heard of such. I got to unclog my phone because it's becoming useless. Oh, I didn't even show you this. It's got the demon on it. Okay, is that the end of these animated series? No, we've got some free comic book day. For your free copy from Lone Star Comics. I'll put you in a bag too. Maybe he'll be worth something someday, man. I can retire again. Free comic book day, indeed. Well, what do we have here? Oh. This is a really cool one. This is Paul Dini and Bruce Timm actually doing this one. They were the Batman artists from the series. This is Mad Love. I think it's the origin of Harley Quinn, and that probably has. Oh, here's another copy of that thing. I don't know if that's valuable or not, honestly. I think it is.